What's up? How we
What's up,
feeling?
punks? Good. Great. It's a Wednesday.
It's a Wednesday. We have our guest here, Jaymie Perez. She claims to know nothing, so that's why we brought her on the show today to talk about nothing. So this whole episode is the nothing episode.
Jazz hands.
Just kidding. We have a lot to talk about. We have, let's see, we're going to talk some Latin music today. We're going to talk a little bit about the mitzvahs, working with big artists. You've been traveling and doing some gigs, and that's fun. So there's a lot to talk about.
Yeah. There's a lot to talk about. I'm excited.
You did just get back from Miami. I saw your post. That venue looked absolutely nuts. I kind of want to do that to my house. It's all projection mapping, right?
It was pretty awesome. Like the floors, the walls, the ceiling, everything. And like it's like they do whatever content you want. So it was like pink roses and flowers, candy, because it was for a little girl. It was really cool.
And how much does that like change throughout the night on that venue?
They had different like scenes for different things. So like cocktail hour was a little more like static, like florals. And then like there was different graphics for the horror, different graphics for montage. So there's a couple different things going on. I would have liked to have seen it a little more tailored to like the music, but it's probably just pre-done graphics.
Right.
But it was really cool in theory.
Projection mapping is awesome when it's done. Like you could take over an entire room with it, and it's insane.
Yeah, no, it was like visually stunning. You just walked in and it just changed everything.
So maybe tell the audience, like, how do you get booked for something like this? You're based in Jersey, and then this is a mitzvah, right? It was a mitzvah in Miami, and so you get flown out to go do that.
So this in particular was booked through our partner company. So I'm with Explosive Entertainment. We have a partner company, Total Entertainment. They do a lot of really big mitzvahs around the country as well. So they wanted specifically somebody Latin and specifically somebody female to be the DJ. And lo and behold, that's me.
I think I wouldn't be able to do that gig. I think I would have been ruled out.
Listen, you got to shoot for the stars.
You would have been like, this guy, Latin, female? I don't know about that.
You believe you can be.
And so you get on the phone, you interview with them, and you see if it's a good fit. And, you know, I'll be completely honest. I know nothing when it comes to like these kind of events. So you have the boy side, you have the girl side. How different are each kind of parties?
So bat mitzvah is for the girl, bar mitzvah is for the boy. Realistically, the flow of events is the same, just depending on how the formalities go. But it would depend on the child. Like you might have a bat mitzvah, but she might be into sports. So it's very sporty and, you know, a little more masculine. And yeah, it just depends on the theme and the kid's vibe. If they want, you know, more feminine, we'll rock it. And if not, then, you know, we'll just whatever their vibe is what you give them. And then musically, of course, you know, it's going to be tailored around their musical choices, and that can affect everything. If they're very hip hop heavy, you know, it's probably going to be a bit of a more like urban theme, sporty theme, and that whole vibe is just going to be tailored to that, which is not my favorite, to be honest.
Yeah.
But you gotta,
and they're 13, right? That's the age.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Traditionally, yes, you can get mitzvah at any age, but traditionally it is at 13 years old when you become a man or a woman. At 13.
And how much of this planning is musically going? Are you also the planner and then also coordinating the music at the same time, or do you come in later with the music and then the planner's like doing all the upfront stuff?
It would really depend if there is a planner and which company I'm working for. So if it's Explosive, I'm very hands-on. If it's Total, I'm a little more hands-off. They have their planners, their coordinators, and they kind of just give me information. This particular family, they knew nothing about music. Like she couldn't tell you what artists she liked. She couldn't tell you what songs she liked. But if it like she heard a song, she'd be like, okay, yeah, I like that song. So I went in.
Sounds like most of my clients.
I went in with more like genres or specific vibes she was feeling. So they were Brazilians. It was a Brazilian mitzvah. That was my personal first. So they wanted Brazilian music. They wanted regular Latin music. They wanted pop music. They wanted hip hop. They wanted a little bit of everything. And since there weren't really a lot of formalities, it was kind of just bouncing around. But it was a big group. We had 175 kids, 150 adults. So it was a big party and trying to please everybody because the adults wanted more Latin music than the kids did. But it was interesting and it was fun.
Yeah. And how long? So when you got there and you started, how long did you play for?
Well, I started playing music for them before the party started. So they were doing like family portraits, pose shots and all that stuff, but it was all where I was. So I just mixed music. Like, what else am I really doing?
Right.
And then I had to play for the cocktail hour, and then I had to play for the full reception. So I think I started at 5:45 and I finished at like 11:15.
And this one was a little bit different, right? It was not your typical, your personal typical style, and it was much more music based. What is a normal mitzvah like, where you're all involved in everything, right? What's like kind of how does it play out?
So for me, I liked when I'm more involved. Like I get to know them on a more personal level, and that just helps, the flow of everything versus just kind of showing up at the party and you're like, hey, what's up? I'm your DJ. I like to walk into the room and I get a big hug and a big smile, and they're super psyched to see me on their special day. Like, I love that. It also just helps me to like know them better, and like, do they want more original stuff? Do they want more like remixed stuff? Because I prefer to play the remixes. In my general area, they typically like that better too. So I just prefer to be involved if I can. But it depends if they're a coordinator or not. So like, I might sell the party. If I sell it, I'm the coordinator. If somebody, because we have a lot of salespeople. If somebody else sells it, I might be the coordinator, but I might not be their talent. Those are the tough ones, because you fall in love with these people and you want to see the success of their event, and you don't even get to see it come to life. So I play like a lot of roles, and I can't always be there. But if I am there, I do try to be super involved with them myself. I like being educated on my event too, though, like the timing on everything, like what the vendors are supposed to be doing. Like, I really don't like walking in blind.
It's so weird because it's such, what you're explaining is like, it's not that different, but at the same time, it's like, well, just in general from like a wedding event or whatever. But then I'm like, man, playing to like 13-year-old kids and adults, that like freaks me out. Yeah.
And they all want to one up each other. It's always just like, okay, I was at this one, I saw you, you're amazing, but now I want to drive a Lamborghini off of a roof. Right? It's just like crazier and crazier.
Yes, it is true. And like, as great as that is for, my sales hat, like I like to bring it back. Like, I feel like a lot of people forget the whole reason why we're here. Some of my best parties were just MC, DJ, 2 dancers, and sound and like lights. Versus that are spending, 6 figures, and they've got every enhancement in the warehouse, and you lose sight of, the point.
That's even some weddings I've done where it's in a backyard and you're like, this is the fucking best wedding ever happened. And then they spent fucking crazy money and their friends just don't party. It does come down to the people, really. Yeah. Which one do you like doing better? Like the guys or the girls? Like, I'm sure, or they're just combined.
I like the girls parties.
Okay.
I like, because they're, they're usually not. Oh, it doesn't come back to bite me. The boys are mean, man. They're mean, and they're perverted, and it's tough. But I mean, when I'm DJing, I'm behind the scenes a little bit. They come back, they'll ask for songs, or they'll try to like get into the swag box or the prize box, which is typically hiding behind, in my area. And that's just a quick like, okay, you can go. But when you're the MC and you're out there, that's a whole different ballgame.
Because the DJ doesn't MC, right? It's a dedicated MC, and I'm just referencing the handful that I've done. So it's a dedicated MC, dedicated dancers, and then you're just like doing whatever the kid has told you, DJ wise.
Correct. Yep. Because there's so much going on at the same time that it's physically impossible to do it all by yourself. And even as the MC, it's not like a wedding where it's like, okay, maybe hype them up and then like kind of be quiet. Like, if they really need you, like, you have to be going the entire time. Like, if you're not talking for like 5 minutes, people are like, what's up? Like, you have to be doing something.
I have zero experience with any mitzvah, but every time I hear it, I think of the scene in Entourage, and I'm pretty sure it's a mitzvah where Vinny Chase is broke and they hire him to sing "You're Just Too Good to Be True," and Johnny Drama pukes all over the cake.
Oh my God. I don't remember that one. I remember when Ari had his kids' mitzvah.
Oh yeah. No, different scene, but that's a good one too, because he mentions that he hired some DJ. Ari does. He's like, cost me so much money, blah blah blah.
He was probably good.
So, like I said, we're always trying to one up each other. Everyone like wants to outdo each other. That means you get to work with like crazy artists, right? So maybe managing some of these talents, just bringing in some of them. Like, what are crazy stuff you have to deal with these artists?
I got to be careful what I say here because some of it is under NDAs. So I got to think about this. One of the craziest things I've seen is an 82-page rider, and half of it was technical, half of it was hospitality. But yeah, that's a wild amount of requests. Technical, I get, but for half of that to be like food and bev, a little bit much.
That's crazy.
Did you just send that into the legal department or like run it through ChatGPT? Like, hey, can you summarize this for me? Because there's no way I'm reading 82 pages.
No, that's me. I'm very, very, very detailed, and I love making spreadsheets. So I will go through line by line. Because the other thing is like it might,
you're not doing that.
It might be like really well written, and it's kind of easy for you to like copy paste. And sometimes it's just paragraph style, and it's like just a mess, and it's disorganized, and it's like, okay, we've got sodas over here, but now we're talking about food, and now we're back to sodas. It's like, well, why didn't you just put the sodas with the sodas? Like that would have made the most sense. So you really need to digest it and dissect it and do it
all right.
Right.
So wait, hold up. Fuse, she's gonna write our writers because I was just realizing I have to send one out recently, and I'm like, why does my writers suck? So maybe you can incorporate some of these like wild shit that you see in there. That
green M&Ms only.
I mean,
kiwis cut in triangles.
I've seen very, very weird specific requests, and I've seen super simple like, hey, as long as I've got some water and something to snack on, I'm good. Which is kind of what my rider is. I just need, I'm 5 foot tall. I have to see over the booth. That's my one request on my rider. And just water and like a place to like chill.
Have you ever got to a place though and like being shorter and not being able to see over the DJ booth? And then you're like scrambling to find something to stand on?
So I did an event in Mexico. It was not a private event. It was an adult experience, let's just say. And I was there for a week, and my flight had been canceled. So I got there super late. I missed like the meet and greet. I missed sound check. I missed everything. I literally got there like right before I was supposed to start. And I'm walking up to where the booth is. There was multiple booths because I was there for a week. So it was different like locations on the resort. Right. And I'm walking to the one that's outside, which is by the pool. And I just start laughing. I'm like, guys, I can't see over that. And like, you'll be fine once we get over there. And I'm like, okay. So like we go up the stairs, and the DJ booth was the DJ booth facade was a video wall, and it was 5 feet tall. So I couldn't see a single thing. And within a few minutes, the people from the resort are like giving me different road cases to stand on, like trying to figure out what's perfect. And one of the CDJ cases was perfect. I'm like, this is perfectly fine. I go, I do what I got to do. And one of them excitedly pulls me over. They built me, like it literally smelled like fresh paint. They took the measurements of that box, and they went and they built me my own little step stool. I was like, wow, look, I've made it. That was cool. Scary at first, but then
that is cool.
When they were like, but I mean, that's Mexico, man. They know how to work.
Yeah. Going back to the artist, you have to, you are right. You're dealing with all these writers, and are you working with them? Are they sending you tracks and shit? Because anytime I've ever worked with an artist, they're the worst. You know, they show up right there and they're like, here's the USB, or how the fuck do you not have my instrumentals? And, you know, just dealing with the different personalities and everything. Something
like that, where like it's an actual private event. They typically bring their own DJs. And so you would have like your own other setup. Their DJ comes out, your DJ steps aside. However, if that wasn't the case, I would never go into an event without already having their music ahead of time. Yeah. And I don't care how they could Dropbox it, they could do whatever, but you're setting yourself up for failure, and it's way too much risk.
Right. No, I mean, for the big events like that, for big events like that, I'm with you, but I just feel like I'm always thrown to the wolves no matter what, at every moment.
Facts. Like I did one, it was Fetty Wap, and he actually came out at a mitzvah and performed on stage, and he did like a 45-minute performance, and it was him and his crew, but we kind of stepped off to the side and let them kind of run the show.
Any crazy shit you've seen that you can talk about working with some of these artists?
But I can talk about like crazy in what sense?
How about just like, is there any stories that stick out in sense of like, were somebody really great to work with? Was there anybody, you know, that you didn't enjoy working with? And you don't even have to mention like a name, but just maybe an experience with somebody.
Yeah, we'll start with the negatives. I have worked with artists that I was not a fan of, artists or just public figures, whatever you want to call them. And it's a matter of either just being like entitled or rude. But I mean, you kind of sign up for that, unfortunately. Even if you're, because I either will manage the talent or I am also talent with them. So like I have the advantage because like I see it from their side, like I have a different advantage. But sometimes people don't care. And even if you're not talent, they might not know your talent. You're not going to come be like, oh, I'm a DJ too. Like they don't care, you know?
Right.
So yeah, I've definitely, but I mean, same thing with regular clients. Some people are just people and you have to kind of deal with it. Greatness though. Oh, a ton. I mean, 𝐃𝐭 was awesome. She was super fun. And she really like, you can tell that she enjoyed being there and she appreciated her. And Jimmy Fallon, super nice. I mean, this man walks in, handshakes everybody, introduces himself, introduces every single person on his entourage, like class act. So some are great.
And are they like getting in with the kids and like dancing around, or is like they're up on stage and stay away from me, 13s?
Wyclef definitely got in the mix, but that was his 60th birthday party, and the father had all of his kids who were in their 20s, had all their friends. It was like 200 and some people. So there were no little ones, but he was definitely like, he was on the dance floor in the mix. Typically, I don't think I've ever seen anybody get off stage. No, I wouldn't want to.
I just wonder. It's an intimate vibe, you know. It's like, and the money's flowing. I just sometimes wonder how much they're thrown at him to be like, this would mean a lot to my kid, you know. The one up style, I mean, really is what I mean.
I've seen them charge, you know, 6 or 7 figures, just depending on who they are.
That's crazy.
Wild to think about. Wild. Imagine spending 7 figures on one aspect.
And
one
then
of your event. That's
maybe
not your venue,
doing, you know, 20 minutes.
And you have 20 minutes. Yeah.
Yeah. That's crazy.
I know. We gotta up our riders. We gotta up our.
I just think about that and like what you could buy for that kind of money, like what you could do.
I'd be buying Lambos.
I mean, just buy multiple houses.
Yeah.
250, 300K here in Cincy gets you a pretty nice house. You could buy 4 of those.
Wow. In Jersey, that gets you nothing. It gets you a salt box in the ghetto.
I was going to say, how is the Jewish community in Cincy? Fuse, maybe you're missing your mark here.
I think I am. I think I could be doing a lot more. I have zero idea of any of this that goes on. I went to a Modest Yahoo event one time that was thrown by like the Cincinnati Jewish community.
We did his kid's mitzvah.
That's dope.
There you go.
Was that a destination one or was that a local one?
You know, Dylan went out and did it, and I had nothing to do with it, so I couldn't tell you. I feel like it was in New Jersey, but I could be wrong. Yeah, no, I was very hands off for that. I did nothing with it.
So in the last, let's say, year, how many of these have you done that you've I guess both that you've coordinated and then that you've DJ'd, and if they're separate numbers, that's okay.
I probably had my hand in whether I sold it, coordinated it, or entertained. It's got to be like 100, 125, like a lot.
That's crazy.
Because I mean, even like next weekend, like I'm personally coordinating 5 events, but we have others. So I'm not going to be at all because I can't split myself into 5 on one weekend.
Right.
So that's a very tough question. I would have to like sit down and look at that.
That's crazy. That's great though. Good for you. I mean,
so I have a question. And again, I'm just going off of the handful that I've ever done, but balancing the adults and the kids, right? And I know that some parents don't give a fuck and other parents are like super adamant about like walking that line. How hard is that? And how are you able to walk that line, right? Because, you know, I guess it depends on the era, right? Sometimes the kids agree a little bit more with the adults music, and sometimes it's just straight ratchet. That's all
I very much dislike ratchet parties, but I mean, I guess that's neither here nor there. The hardest part is when the kids and the parents' vision don't align. But I mean, ultimately you kind of have to talk the kid down and try to explain to him, like, there's other people in the room and like, yes, we're here for you, but like, you want to make sure everybody leaves saying like, wow, that was a great time. Cause that's only going to make you feel better. If everybody leaves like, well, that was a mediocre time, that's not, the experience you want your guests to have. But I mean, I've had some parents that really could care less about like their kid and it was a party for themselves. And those are the ones that like hurt my heart because I'm a very empathetic person and I just feel so bad for the kid, and especially when like such a sweet kid. And I'm like, I remember I did a mitzvah and it was something about the grand entrance. And I asked the kid what she wanted. She was like, well, just ask my mom because if I say the wrong thing, she's going to be mad at me. And I was like, well, I'm not worried about what your mom wants. I'm like, because it was about like one of the entertainers, like how they were going to enter like linked arms or not. Like, you don't want to just touch these type of like interaction.
And nobody wants people
like, you're
touching
just
kids.
arms. Like, I don't need to ask your mom. I want to make sure you are comfortable. And if the kid's uncomfortable with it, it's going to read all over their face. It's going to be all over the photos, all over the video. And, but I mean, it's the same whether it's something about an enhancement or like musically, like when they're not on the same page, it's really difficult. But you kind of just know what's up. And luckily, when they have formalities, your dance at weddings, I feel like it's a 2-hour-long dance at the end of the party. Mitzvahs aren't like that. It's a lot of like up and down because there's motzi, there's kiddush, there's candle lighting, there's hora, there's speech.
Okay, what are those? Because you're just going to wait. What are some of those? What are some of those things you're saying? I know the hora. That's about all I got. The rest is like a prayer, right? What's a prayer?
The and the kiddush is you bless the wine, and then the hamotzi is you bless the bread, the challah bread.
All right. I have 2 questions before I forget. One, I guess with just to wrap up what you're saying is between the parents and the kids, it really depends on like who's there, right? If it's a ton of kids, it's kind of like heavy on kids. Even if the parents want it, it is what it is. Yeah, so that's going to play into it in the planning.
Yeah, I was gonna say sometimes parents very much are like, entertain the kids. If the adults want to dance, let them, but don't force them to dance. Don't play things specifically just to get the like, we don't care. So those are easy. Unless the guests are like in your face about playing their music and it's just like, no, who are you?
No requests. And then my other question, I actually truly need to know this for moving forward in life, is how do you run a hora properly?
Okay. So in a mitzvah, what you want to do is you get the immediate family first. And typically they kind of know what's going on. You don't have to do too much.
Oh yeah. I'm just like throwing it at the wolves. Like okay, here we go. And hopefully everyone knows. I'm like, go left, go right. I'm just randomly saying things. Yeah.
So you got the immediate family. They start, holding hands and they circle around. And then what you want to do is try to get the family next, aunts, uncles, because they're going to be closest to the chair. You don't want kids coming in and lifting the chair. Terrible.
So the host is pulling these out, right? They're like, they kind of know who's in charge, or those people already know to go to the middle. Okay.
Yeah. The worst is when everybody's like backing up and you're like, we need strong men to lift the chair. And everybody's like,
they're Homer Simpson into the bush.
Yeah. And I'm like at the same time, you never know who has a disability. What if somebody's got herniated disc and they can't lift the chair? Like, you don't know. It's like, you're
fucked up if you're going to the front. You're going to the front, you got a disability. Come on.
I mean, yeah, trust me, I've seen it all. Okay. So they do that, and then
so we're a family now.
The chair and you spin to the spin to the right, you spin to the left.
No, I don't know this. I'm making notes right now because I need to know how to run it properly moving forward.
Yeah, you tell them where to go, but like in the planning process, they kind of tell you like, do they want an elongated hora or do they want to just do the chair lift, get the photo, and get on with it? Sometimes you can do a hora for 15-20 minutes if they really want, and then like you play Hashem Malech, good stuff. You guys are like, what?
I just have a medley. I have a medley I hit play on, and it just runs runs the gambit. Okay, so we're doing that.
Left a couple times.
Yeah.
You have them like rush the circle. They come back out. You have them stand in place. You have them clap their hands. That way they're not moving anymore. You bring the chair in. Best thing I can tell anybody is you want to face that chair wherever the cameras are. So like everybody's on. If they lift that chair, that's the shot you want. So if they're facing the wrong way, they're not going to get the shot. And then, they're doing the chair. You tell whoever's holding it, slightly tilt the chair back so people don't fall out. And then, they go up and down circles. And then typically for mitzvahs, it'll be your guest of honor and then the siblings and then the mom and then the dad. But sometimes mom and dad don't want to go up. Sometimes the siblings don't want to go up.
I'm like,
I just let it run. I'm like, all right, we're doing it, yay! And then I just yell out random things, left, right, circle. Hey, put your hands up.
Whatever. Yeah, they love the I love the hora. I think it's a great time. I really do.
I think every event should do the hora. I think it's literally the funnest fucking thing known to man.
If anybody needs like any help with mitzvah planning, if they're, if somebody calls and they're inquiring, but they're not comfortable, like there's resources, call Explosive, call whoever. Like if production is your thing, just fly out the talent and you guys handle the production.
All right. Well, the other thing we wanted to talk today about, we know you do some Latin gigs and Latin music, and we're going to talk a little Latin music.
This is also not my strong suit. I am in Southern California, so I do get thrown into a lot of these. I've pulled back a little bit more because I just don't speak Spanish, so it's no, I get the vibe, right? Like I can mix it, and my favorite is when I'm doing a wedding and they come up and they're like just speaking to me in Spanish. I'm like, I don't have a clue what you're saying. And they're like, oh, I would never have guessed, because a beat's a beat, right? You can mix it and throw it in. You're getting booked for some of these Latin things, not just mitzvahs. So maybe talk a little bit about some of this style of gigs, or like maybe the clubs that you're doing on Jersey Shore that have this vibe to it, or just the vibe to it.
Just the vibes. So Latin nights are also a bit of organized chaos because there's so many genres of Latin music. So like when you're playing reggaeton, the merengue people are mad. So then you go to salsa, but then the bachata people are mad. So you have to, it's almost like a mitzvah, like tailoring to the adults and the kids by mixing a little bit of everything. So the longest set I ever did was for Alex Nepa in Pennsylvania, over by Penn State. He's got an account called the Basement Night Spot. It was a lot of fun. But it was just Latin music for 5, and it's fun. It's just, it is difficult because people can be difficult.
and some of it could cross over, like we'll talk about on some of these picks. But when you're doing a 5-hour dance set with kids, it's probably more of the newer reggaeton, Latin house stuff, right?
For sure. And you wouldn't do even that one that I just did in Miami. That was pretty much all dancing. It was not Latin music but they wanted a little bit of like Latin pop, Latin house, Brazilian. So there was, again, a lot of genres to mix in there.
Right.
It was a little all over the place, but.
And I know a little bit of the differences, but maybe we'll just like mention the differences. Like bachata is like slow dance, right? No. It's like more like the slower style. I could be completely wrong. I don't know.
I wouldn't really say any of it's slower. Bachata's like I could do the dance,
style.
but I don't know
style.
how to. Yeah. I mean, yeah. I wouldn't say it's slow though. Reggaeton is slow, right. But like you're not slow dancing to it. You're gyrating.
No, raging. Yeah. And so like on the Jersey Shore. We'll put subtitles down around the bottom right for that one right there. Yes. And so like on the Jersey Shore, what are you playing for? You're doing some Latin restaurants. I don't know much about Jersey. You do some Latin restaurants, and then also like you're playing on the Jersey Shore. Jersey Shore is like that Jersey boom boom.
Jersey boom
but I've never even been to a party out there. Like it's just mostly house? Are you playing it's like some of the Latin stuff? Is there like just different areas? Like how does that all incorporate?
Drop some Latin house in like the Jersey Shore sets, but for the most part they just want very high energy, like think Tremor, Boneless, very like in your face. But I like to do like remixes too. So I'll take work because like most places don't let you play like hip hop or rap, but you can kind of hit that fine line if it's EDM and just the lyrics. So I like to definitely link Latin in there too, for sure. And then there's like vibe dining spots that love like Latin house, and those are honestly like some of my favorite sets to play because you can just play and nobody bothers you, and there's nothing to like have to like run a show to worry about. And that's one of my favorite genres in general, just to play.
Yeah, we have a lot of like sushi spots out here where it's just like deep house, deep random shit, and all that flows really well.
Yeah.
Right. And and then The Calling is like the Jersey Shore song now. That's like they've claimed it as their own. right?
Cut the mozzarella.
And
Jersey
how many times a night does that get played? And if you play a bootlegger, is it just taboo?
No, it's not taboo at all. PC, but people like that around here. They like the mashup stuff. I mean, I won't play it twice in one night unless I'm drunk.
Do you have to throw napkins when the drop hits? Is that a requirement?
I don't do it because I don't like littering, and I don't like unnecessary waste.
That would be your moral compass. Your moral compass comes in because I'm sorry, party. I'm sorry, party. We can't go to 11 because I don't litter.
Yeah, like it's so wasteful. Like it's just gonna go right in the
How do you feel about confetti?
I have a lot of disdain towards this industry because it is so wasteful. I struggle with it a lot, actually, and I talk about it all the time, like with my friends. Like, think about you go to a mitzvah and you're, well, not me, like the dancers, like prepping the party favorite kit. Every single sunglass, every foam, every single thing is wrapped in its individual piece of plastic. So before the party even starts, we're throwing out a massive, 30-gallon bag of straight plastic. The flowers all in the dumpster, the food all in the dumpster. Like, I hate that. Yeah. We've derailed.
So many of my venues won't even allow it anymore. They just charge you like a crazy amount for any of that stuff.
The episode is sponsored by the Green Foundation, aka Leonardo DiCaprio's charity event. So now is a good time for us to mention that sponsorship segment.
Yes, perfect. Save the planet.
Speaking of sponsors, we'll talk the sponsors and then we'll get into the music. And if you guys haven't signed up yet, you can use promo code 𝐷rewandFuseShow. It'll get you 30% off your first month of activation. So it'll get you 30% off the first month at Direct Music Service. If you haven't signed up yet, go do that. A lot of what we'll talk today is going to be on there. And if it's not on Direct Music Service, we do now have a Patreon page, and you can sign up for that. It's $9.99, and you can get edits that you can't find of ours on Direct Music Service, basically, and stuff that we talk about on the show.
I've been posting up all my mixes up there with the track listing. In fact, Jaymie did all the drops for it. Forgot to mention that.
There you go.
Nice. I loved it.
You killed the drops. They're pretty. They came out amazing. Let's talk music.
Let's talk music.
Let's see. Let's have our guest go first.
What's
your first song?
Pick.
Just one song first.
Okay. So it's actually an original. I know Jaymie's not picking a mashup or a bootleg, but it's so fun and it's so like culturally happy. Like it mentions so many different, Latin cultures, and it's all about food and dancing and partying and loving life and having a great time. So it's La Gozadera. You guys know that one?
I love this song. It's a banger.
It is.
I don't know that song, but I will check it out.
Mexico.
Yeah. Miami me lo confirmo.
I'm gonna ask ChatGPT to replace the vocals with your guys's.
Listen, Mark Anthony's gonna have to watch his back.
I like Mark Anthony. See, here's my issue. I'm in Cincinnati. There is like a little Latin scene, but for the most part, in the places that I play, I don't play much Latin. So the stuff that I do play has to be very, very recognizable. And that's the stuff that I'll talk about today too. Some of the stuff that I do play that I feel.
When I was out there, we did you took me to it wasn't purposely taking me there. Right. It was like a grand opening, but it was a Latin house, like
yes. Yeah. There's a promoter in town that does a lot of Latin like events throughout the week and weekend.
I wouldn't have thought that bring Jaymie out. Yeah. I wouldn't have thought that Jersey was so heavily Latino or Latina based, right? I wouldn't even began to have even think that. So there might be more out there, Fuse. I mean, like I said, you do have that party, so maybe there is.
Yeah, definitely. It's just it doesn't cross over much to where I'm playing. Right. And as soon as I play something that is not within the norm, I get looked at like you're crazy, man. So, all right, Jaymie mentioned her first pick. My first pick will be let's go with Enrique Iglesias featuring Sean Paul, Bailando. I play that one. Yes. I play that one, and I feel like I'll play it a lot of times, like kind of at the end of the night or more towards the end of the night, just because it's like a fun little like lower energy. That one I feel like I can play in a more like crossover situation.
I'll put that. I'll add to that is I made a really dope, or I didn't make it, but there's a really great redrum remix, and it's from Willie William. But yeah. Great remix. It bumps it from 91 to 100. So I'll throw that on the Patreon. My pick is going to be, again, we're just doing Latin vibes. It doesn't have to be full Spanish, but I'm going Cardi B. I like it, but the Q remix, and it just puts it up to 128. And I actually think it makes the song better than the slower version. I just like it. It's the only one I play. So there it is. All right, Jaymie, back to you.
Back to me. Okay, so my next 4 picks are all of the like crossover like Latin songs that like everybody kind of knows, but they're all remixes. So my first one is Gasolina Anthem. Chewy remix.
Okay. It's a banger. I play a couple different versions of that. I love the obviously just cold dropping the original always works, but when you're up in that range, that's a killer remix.
Yeah, I love that.
I play that one every night, probably. Gasolina every night.
I have a transition of that.
Not that version. I play an edit I made that has like the Lil Jon remix where he like hypes the beginning. I made an edit where it goes like into that hype and then just drops back into like the original. So I could actually put that up on the Patreon.
All right, I'm adding it in there. Okay. And I have a transition that I play all the time that goes into that Chewy remix that I'll add into the Patreon.
It's my turn again. I like 𝐸𝐵𝐾 apparently a lot, and my next pick is him and Nicky Jam, El Perdón. I don't know if I'm saying it right. Yeah, another like end of the night kind of song for me that I would play. I just like the song too. I like a lot of the Spanish music. I don't speak a word of Spanish, and for me,
is that beg your pardon? Is that what that means? El perdón.
Yeah.
Excuse me.
Kinda, yeah, not really.
How
do you translate it?
I don't know, man.
I was gonna say for me, I just like sometimes not knowing what they're saying, and then you're actually just like really listening to the music and the melody and how it makes you like feel. So there's
that's how I feel about, I was gonna say, Israeli music and Punjabi when I have to play it. I have no idea what's happening.
Yeah, right. And I think it's cool sometimes to not know what's going on because then you can just enjoy it for what it is.
Yeah.
Right. All right. Well, we skipped me. I'm next here. Let's see. Since you like Enrique Iglesias, I'm gonna stick with Cardi B. And
so Latin.
It's not Latin, but it's what was super popular for a hot second. Is that I can't say it properly. Guaracho bootleg. That style was so popular just a couple years back, and it's the WAP remix. I had it on my last mix, and it just fucking bangs. It's a banger.
Very fun.
Yep. Yeah.
It's a good one. It's fun.
All right. Jaymie, you're next.
I went the Alex Dynamics Coolie blend of Baila Conmigo.
Nice. That was one that I had in my picks as well as an honorable mention. 𝐟𝐸𝐫 did a fun bootleg with Sexy Bitch over top of it too, which we always talk about how like I like, and Drew does the same, where it's like crossover songs. So like if you're playing super open format and you're playing like house, that this one would be like a good crossover because like it's pop with some Latin to it, and then you could go into like another Latin house song out of that, and it like kind of makes a little more sense. So that's why I like that version of that.
I love that.
Great pick. Fuse, that was your honorable mention, but what's your actual one?
J Balvin, 𝐸𝐵𝐾.
Okay. Yeah, great one.
It's a fun one. I feel like I could play it in a more open format set, and it's got good energy, so I don't lose like the crowd.
All right, Jaymie, here's a question. Maybe you know this, but J Balvin to me was a way bigger artist than Bad Bunny. And then just out of fucking nowhere, maybe it's the Illuminati, but he just became, just shot past him. Any idea?
Any idea why Bad Bunny was a little more mainstream?
Just like blew up way bigger than J Balvin.
As I don't really think J Balvin says anything in English, or am I wrong?
That could be.
That might be the reason.
But
I don't think he sings in English. Or Bad Bunny will do both.
all the Bad Bunny songs sound exactly the same to me. As somebody who doesn't know what he's saying, they're always like, and like I just don't even. I don't know. Like it all sounds the same. Like his tone of his voice is always the same. There's like not much range.
No.
Maybe that's the familiarity that people like, and that's what keeps it. Like,
and there's songs of his that I enjoy too, like that like aren't necessarily like popular ones. Again, I don't know what's being said, but like I enjoy. I'm like, oh, that song's cool. Or
no, I like a lot of the Bad Bunny. To me, it's just the obnoxiousness. He's just become memed. That's where the obnoxiousness is. But I don't mind Bad Bunny. I play it all the time.
And he's got like a sense of humor. I've seen him on a bunch of things like wrestling. He's been on like SNL. Like seems like a fun person, you know,
chill guy.
Good sense of humor about himself. Yeah, just a chill guy.
Just a chill guy.
All right, well, I thought I'd throw it out there. I don't know if you had an ear to the streets for what's going on, but my pick is going to be Sergio Mendes Magdalena, but the link in bio Sete remix. I mean, this is just a classic anyways. You can play any remix really, but I like this one. Put it on the Patreon.
All right, that brings us back to you, Jaymie, with your fourth pick.
It is my fourth pick. Okay, this is the David Iglesias and Brian Fox Latin remix, 𝐾𝐿 calor, because it takes that like slower song and makes it a little more danceable.
I mean, just the original was hitting for me as well, so I'll have to look into that one. Yeah,
Major Lazer and J Balvin.
Yep, banger.
We've seen Diplo play a few times, but never Major Lazer, and I would like to see the whole show with that.
Whole show.
I think that would be fun.
I managed Diplo once, but never Major Lazer.
Oh, how did that go? Right. Any fun stories? Did you stage dive?
No, he was late. Neither here nor there. He was quiet. He just kind of wanted to get his stuff done and be bothered with anything else, and that's cool.
I think it would be tough to be on the road that many days a year. It would eat me alive, dude.
He does like multiple shows a day on different sides of the states, and that is like a crazy touring schedule. I just saw something where he posted like it was like his New Year's resolution that this year he was going to do less shows and like kind of taking a break from it all. Because like last year he did like 300 and something shows last year.
Oh no.
One of them was the Subway, like a random Subway show.
Yeah, I saw that one. That was nuts.
And one was for Spotify at the Brooklyn Mirage.
There you go.
I mean, that stage is dope. I mean, they had real fire.
He's like a real DJ, like not just like a producer DJ that had to learn how to DJ and play his songs. Like every time we've seen him in Vegas, and this goes to years back when Warren was at Excess, and he would do what was best for the crowd. He would play some of his stuff, then he'd play some hip hop, and then some, remix. It was always fun to watch him DJ because you didn't really know, like any other DJ, you didn't know what you were going to get, which is enjoyable.
Yeah, I enjoyed his performance. I mean, I watched probably half of it because then the other half I was running around like a crazy person.
Right.
But when you have a minute, you definitely go to the stage and enjoy the fruits of your labor. But I did. I enjoyed his show.
All right, so I think I'm back here with my fourth pick, and this is I feel like a no-brainer. Everyone plays. It's Don Omar, Dale. Am I saying it wrong?
No, that's right.
Dale.
So that's one I play all the time, and I feel like that's a no-brainer. A lot of times with the show and what we're trying to do is help people out that don't play much Latin, and this is kind of the point of this. So
that's a throwback. It's a little bit older, but it's like kind of a classic in that era. And I'm gonna just add on to it is the Rivas remix, boost that up to like more Latin house and keeps that energy. It's a banger. It's good.
I feel like a lot of just any genre, older music is just better. Everything new is not good, in my opinion.
There was something that was just being said. It was an interview I was just reading, and they were talking about how kids, even right now, I got to find that interview, and kids now are just still to this day referencing 2010s era stuff. That's what they relate to. That's when the hooks were better. That's when just everything it's like the most streamed right now in that age bracket, 21 to 25 is the 2010s era stuff. So
I mean,
people need to go
have
back.
you listened to Travis Scott music? I mean, it's not good.
What do you mean? Fiend is just.
I mean, that song's okay, but like in general, I think this
it's terrible.
sounds like an old band, but I don't get it at all. Like, and I don't even get wanting to go to the shows. I don't understand any of it.
I don't like it either. I mean, to me, that particular song, it just sounds demonic. It doesn't sound right.
I love it.
I don't like it.
I don't mind that song in particular. It's just like the overall vibe of like he seems like it's always just like trying to cause chaos.
Yeah. See? Dark.
And I just don't understand it.
Yeah.
The song's cool. I like that part. Like I think the synth and all that sounds cool. Of all of his songs, I probably enjoy that one the most. But the rest, I'm like, I don't know.
All right, we'll keep this pushing. Who's let's see, who's next? Is it Jaymie? Is your turn again?
No, it's
My
you,
turn?
Drew.
Okay. Yeah. I'm gonna go. This is like such a surface level Latin episode, but I'm going with this edit I made because I want to give it on the Patreon, and it's j-lo Let's Get Loud. And I don't know, somebody mentioned it to me recently. They're like, they were at some conference and someone came out to it. It was one I was not playing, but it has a ton of energy behind it, and I think because of her Super Bowl performance and other stuff, it resonates. It's been working for me, so I'll put my edit in there because it doesn't really have a second chorus. It just goes, and then the chorus doesn't wrap everything up. So I chopped it up to where it makes sense. So I'll throw that in the Patreon.
All right, that brings us back to your fifth pick, Jaymie.
My fifth is the Mora edit of Yo Voy, another.
Yo voy, another classic era. Yeah,
that one.
See, I actually know all of these picks. Yeah, I know most of them. Yeah, but I have to see them in my folder, and so like if they're in the crate, and I can kind of look at them and go, oh yeah, that's a banger. But it's hard for me to just off the top go, oh Yo Voy, let me just play that one.
That's I don't know that one, so I'll be interested to hear that one, and I might if I heard it. It's just
when you hear it, you'll know.
I'm sure.
Yeah, that's a banger.
My next pick is also like a classic, I feel like, and it's Mark Anthony, Vivir Mavida. I don't know. I'm probably butchering.
You are not probably. You're definitely butchering it. It's a check for facts right there.
Say it for me, Jaymie.
Vivir mi vida.
Yeah, that's my pick.
That means my crazy life, right? Or something like that.
To
live my life. All right, see, close.
So that's a good one, but I just have to reference this that anytime I see Mark Anthony, I can't think of 1990s Mark Anthony with his turtleneck and the "You Sang to Me" music video. Jaymie, did that inspire your outfit today?
No, I was just cold. But I knew I would be like sweating on this. I'd be nervous, so it's a crop top.
Giving Mark Anthony vibes. Hot up top and cold on the bottom.
Exactly.
Hold on, I got to pull up this picture so you can see that it's not just.
It's like a mullet sweatshirt. Oh my god!
I mean,
that's like so 90s too.
It's a vibe.
No, that's like where. No, that's like where you're like, okay, I need my turtleneck stretched out, right? I need like a tortoise neck. I don't want a turtleneck.
Owl neck.
So the funny story about this song, this is one of my troll songs because it's a pretty long song, and I used to play at a venue that was a club, more clubby, I should say, called the Pavilion, and across the street, one of my buddies had it was like a Mexican restaurant and bar, and they would do food, and like they would get people in there. Well, Alicia, one of the girls that bartends at the current bar I play at every Friday, Fishbowl, would always work Thursdays, and they had a touch tunes that was accessible from the bar I would play at. So I would just play the "You Sang to Me" song like 6 different times throughout the night to drive her nuts.
I mean, once I would be okay with it. 6.
It was was trolling really hard. She would walk over sometimes and be like,
Did you sing to her? I would have just sang to her.
You sang to me.
Yeah.
I have my last pick.
Let's hear it.
This is going to be, I'm going to put it on the Patreon because I don't know if this is a bootleg or what it is, but, or no, it is an original. So it's Pitbull Suave, but it's Suavemente. It's with Elvis Crespo, but he had this song on his album, The Drop, and then he redid it and then did it with this. So I don't know if that song went away and then they redid this, but it's just kind of, you know, everything with Pitbull makes it better, crosses over. This one is like a great like refresh. And if we're all still playing the same 4 Pitbull songs from like over 10 years ago, this is a great one to add in there to like refresh it a little bit and play new Pitbull.
I like that. I like it. These are all good picks. I feel like this is like 15, 16 songs that are all like all pretty good. So I feel like it's very helpful. Even for me, there's some stuff that I'll grab and play.
Yeah.
All the Patreon
popular.
Right.
Yeah. They're just good remixes to put in your sets to change them up. But yeah, great picks, dude. Thank you so much for being on. It was awesome.
Yeah.
Thanks for having me. This was fun.
No problem. Before we jump off here, just tell everybody where they can find you on the social media and internets.
On the interwebs. You can find me on Instagram, JAYMIE_Perez, or you can visit my website, JaymiePerez.com. That's it.
Awesome.
I stay on social media. That's all I have.
You're going to be doing all of our writers, right? So the next time I come on, I can showcase my writer on the Patreon. That would actually be pretty cool. It's like, I'm going to hold you to that because I think that would be kind of cool to have like a better writer, because it comes up every now and then. We have guests on, and when they send us their press kit and they have a really good writer, I download all of them, I keep them, and then I've been trying to piece them together. So there you go. You got homework.
Yeah.
You got homework.
We love it. We love homework.
Football helmet full of cottage cheese.
What?
You never seen the movie Airheads? When the movie Airheads with Brendan Fraser, Adam Sandler, and Steve Buscemi, they like take over the radio station hostage, and then they finally get to play their song at a concert, and they like are making their rider, and one of the things they request is a football helmet full of cottage cheese.
Wow. I hope to never ever have that in my life.
It's so random. That's why I love it. That movie is amazing too.
If I ever have to manage you as the talent, I'll make sure to have that in your green room. Yeah.
Perfect. A football helmet full of cottage cheese.
Any specific team on the helmet?
We'll go Bengals.
Okay. Any specific brand of cottage cheese?
I don't even know cottage cheese brands, to be honest. Like, what is it? Like
Blue
Blue Bonnet? Is that one? Blue Bonnet?
I don't
go generic.
So
I just want the generic tub with a blue label and it says cottage cheese.
Let's look. I'm Googling cottage cheese brands.
All right. Since we're derailing real quick, I do want to know what is the craziest thing you saw on a writer?
Let me think.
Because we all hear the M&Ms, we hear the, I don't know, just random shit. But yeah, what's a just something off the top?
I wouldn't say anything was specifically crazy, like give me the reds of whatever. It's probably just the cost of some of the items. Like one of them, she wanted 2 cans of like literally the most expensive caviar that she didn't even touch. And someone else wanted, I think it was like the 𝐬𝐮𝐬𝐫𝐞 bottles. It was like $1,500, and he wanted like 2 or 3 of them. And I'm running around Manhattan because I can't find them.
Right. Yeah.
But yeah, I've never seen like asinine requests where it's like, oh, okay, that's unnecessary.
And since you're going to be doing my writer, how important is it to have like this super random as fuck thing?
I feel like doing that is just to like assert your dominance and like have a reason to complain. And you don't seem to be that kind of guy. So like, because if it's wrong, what are you going to do besides complain about it? They're not going to fix it.
Right.
Maybe they will. I don't know.
Right.
No, I've just heard that it's a thing to so that they know that they read the rest of it.
Right. But still, what's that going to do for you? Like if I did that, I know I would just be annoyed.
Look,
and then
if I don't have a football helmet full of cottage cheese at my next event, I'm not even performing. So
yeah, it's just a reason to complain. But why would you want to bring that kind of energy into where you're supposed to bring the energy up?
No, but how about a giant yam pillow like off Amazon?
I'll find one. I can't find it. I'll
A yam pillow. Wow.
So I
It'll
can
say
sleep. So I can
Drew's
take a power nap.
Drew's yam.
Yeah.
It's like it'll be like your what do you call it? Like a dog you fly with on a plane, like your emotional support yam.
Yes, an emotional support yam.
I
Yeah.
needed an emotional support yam. I do. I
Yeah.
feel like
love it.
all right, put that in the writer. Make a
I got
note.
All right. That's gonna wrap it up for today. Emotional
Yes.
support yams
And cottage cheese.
and cottage cheese brands. Daisy, that's one. Daisy
That's
cottage
sour
cheese.
cream.
Is it? But they probably make cottage cheese too.
Maybe.
I'm sure.
That's just moldy sour cream. Let's be honest.
Cottage cheese is good. I do enjoy it.
Said no one ever.
All right. That's it. Until next time, we'll see you
Peace.
guys later. Peace.
Bye, friends.